Hi, Piper office. What's up, Instagram? I am setting up here to talk about the different things you can do, or why beekeeping. Kim. So I'm just setting up here. Hello. I'm going to talk about getting into bees and beekeeping, like the motivations behind, actually starting the endeavor of keeping bees. Are you able to hear me when it's sitting like this? Just a question. Give me a thumbs up. Because that would be great. I would hate to not be heard. So starting this, awesome. So hello and happy Wednesday. I wanted to start a little bit of a series where I sit down on either one of the weekend days to chat about bees and beekeeping, and in a way I'd like to almost reintroduce myself, and in that reintroduction to myself, what a better way is than to describe why I keep bees in the first place. Because it's why I keep bees. The reasons why I keep bees influence what I do and how I keep those bees and maintain them. Hello, I'm Patrick Harrison, and I was thinking about calling this like maybe a podcast. Maybe if I do call it a podcast, it's going to be called the Patrick Knows Nothing podcast, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I got 3 cameras set up right now, and I'm just kind of looking at them. And so this is the Patrick Knows Nothing podcast, and I guess where I'd like to talk about bees and beekeeping, and what better way to start a conversation about bees and beekeeping than to discuss why I keep bees in the first place. And what's it called? I'm pouring myself a little coffee. The best way to keep bees is for you to keep them alive and meet your goals. And you really need to get into it knowing what your goals are in the first place in order to start off. And I have people come into my store that want to get into bees and beekeeping and start the hobby, or start it as a hobby, or just as a way to connect with nature. And then there's people like me that want to keep bees for profit. And I'd say that those are the 3 major reasons why people want to keep them. And yes, I am in the store right now. It's the reason why most people want to keep them is just to connect with nature, and to save the bees is another big one. And that kind of makes a lot of beekeepers roll their eyes as to, well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by save the bees? Because it might not really make sense in practice, because whose bees are you saving when you keep them in your backyard? And it's because there's a mismatch of someone's intention and what they actually do. So to talk about it in a little bit of personal way, like, why do I keep bees? Well, I keep bees for profit. Brother Adam, in his book Keeping Bees in Buckfast Abbey, he says to a remodal, damn it, I forgot the word, but for profit, and he had a 1920 words for it. I extract my livelihood from the bees that I am managing for different people around northern New Jersey, and from the honey that is produced here in Sussex County, and I teach classes and have people out to the farm. So I rely on those bees being healthy and alive in order to do all three of those. I think for me, it's I like to joke that I just do this beekeeping thing for fun. I'm retired. Do this beekeeping thing just to keep my mind young, and sometimes it feels like that I'm retired and I'm just kind of enjoying things. So it's, I do connect with nature, and then there's the save the bees. And what do you mean by that? When somebody says, I want to keep bees to help them. Okay, cool. Now let's tailor management to best fulfill those goals in management. So if somebody wants to save the bees, how should they keep those bees alive? And that moves into really like a mindset, and where somebody's mindset is in the day-to-day keeping of those bees. So the goals of saving the bees, let's talk about that. I just got off the phone with somebody that his bees died in late summer, early fall, and he doesn't know why. And it's probably not for anything other than varroa mites, and it's kind of annoying because it's like, once you get bees, so you hear varroa, but it's almost annoying to talk about sometimes because it's kind of like beating a dead horse. So this season, and it's something that I've been saying that I was going to do for a couple years now, I sell nukes, which is 5 frames of bees and brood. They do come from North Carolina, and they're brought up here, distributed on or about April 20th. I'm going to go down there in early April and do alcohol washes on all of them, and take a look at all those nukes, and so to be able to know what the level of mite infestation is on April, say, 10th. Then those bees are going to get brought up here, going to get distributed across northern New Jersey to both myself and the customers, and maybe you, that are getting into bees. And I have a plan to test them 6 times throughout the season. So you're going to be given a couple jars that you'll send back the alcohol washed bees, and now it's a breeding program. All those bees started off at similar or exactly the same strength. They all had exactly the same varroa infestation, 0. And then did they make honey, yes or no? If they did not, then they're no longer considered into the program. And if they're not maintaining mites well enough by themselves, then in 2025 we should replace that queen with another queen with better genetics. And hopefully, let's say from the 500 people that are buying nukes, now we have a program of 500 colonies. All those colonies started off at the same strength. They went into the summer. They were in similar areas, and northern New Jersey being all kind of the same. and then which ones did the best, and the ones that do the best, I want to come back, bring them back into Harvey, and let's take from those bees, let's graft from those queens, and uh, do that over and over and over again, so that in 51 years we're not treating for varroa, and we have bees surviving and thriving without either chemical treatment or physical removing of brood, adding sugar, or anything. Let's build a better bee on a 50-year time scale, and it's kind of like planting a tree. The best day to do it is today or yesterday, if that ever happened. I think that's really what I really wanted to talk about for the most part, and I reached out to the Instagram Live to have some questions asked, and nothing came in, and so I guess this would be the point in time that I would answer questions, but no questions have come in, so I'm here. Depending on how this looks, I'm probably posting it on Thursday, and I'm gonna be tying the posting like this to the moon cycles, actually. So we have a full moon in Leo on Thursday the 25th, and I'm gonna be doing that because I think I want to tie myself to the celestial cycles as opposed to the the cycles of the January through December calendar, and kind of like how the bees are tied. So right now in January we're probably like 30 days after the winter solstice, and the days are starting to get longer, and it's those days getting longer that the bees are in tune with. So there's probably a small bit of brood inside of the hives right now, and they're starting to rear that brood, and they're going to start to grow in size, getting ready in preparation for the coming spring. And I saw some skunk cabbage yesterday, and that's like an early pollen producer. The spring's right around the corner is what I'm saying, and it's the days getting longer that's telling me this, which is just so exciting. And I guess back to that, the bees are rearing brood now. That's what makes honeybees. Right now, the honeybees are growing in size, and so that they're on April 1st, they're going to be a population of 60,000 strong to go out and exploit the different flowers, whereas bumblebees right now are one. There's a overwintered mated queen inside leaf litter somewhere, and that queen's going to emerge April 1st as one, then lay eggs, then turn into 2, 4, 8, 16 over a course of many weeks, whereas honeybees are like gangbusters right now because they stored food from last winter. So that's it. Like with these colder days that we just left, I made sure that they had enough food to get through that. And what I mean by that is the hives that are light and they don't have sufficient honey stores going into winter, I'm probably giving them a hard candy or fondant, mostly a fondant block, and giving that to them as an emergency feed only, because I don't want to just prophylactically give them the sugar, because they tend to consume that first, and when they should be consuming the calories that are inside the comb. And come April, that queen will have nowhere to lay if they didn't eat the honey that is in the comb, and because they ate the fondant. So I'm giving them fondant as needed, and I'm also putting Apivar in some hives that I'm not able to visit more often, and my hives that are closer to base, hitting with oxalic acid vapor. And oxalic acid vapor is really good at killing the bees that are killing the mites that are on the bees, the adult bees. It doesn't penetrate the wax cappings. So this time of year, when there's very little brood, there is some, but there's very little brood, that mite population is more likely to be affected. And so I'm doing that probably 3 times in a row. 3 times, 5 to 7 days in a row. I'm giving myself that flexibility just because, just scheduling purposes. I need to be able to not be too rigid on when I'm getting out there, because I have the farmer's market. I'm here every Friday, and things like that. Oops. So yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to talk about. And thank you for stopping in. If you stopped in, I want to keep asking or keep answering your questions, and if you're interested in keeping bees this year, or you have bees, remember that I'm here. I have equipment for sale. I have bees themselves, and as you need, I have the glass jars and the lids that you need to keep all your honey in. I have mite treatments. I have everything a beekeeper needs in order to be a good beekeeper, from the bees themselves, and that have a 1,000-year outlook in their management, because I plan on being here for another 1,000 years, and the mite management. I have the treatments as needed. If you buy nukes from me, I'll help you with that alcohol wash. And when you're successful and you have a surplus honey, I'm gonna have jars for you. So yeah, that's all I got. And thank you so much for supporting me. And it's your support that I'm able to do what I'm doing. So cheers.